So sometimes it matters who you sit next to on an airplane. I just am getting home from a flight, and I got to share a good story with you guys. So sat down next to this gentleman. Don't mind my steer here. He won't say anything. But I sat down next to this gentleman on flight, and I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but I was just kind of listening to his conversation because he wasn't trying to be necessarily that quiet. And he was talking to either his sales executives or his entire sales team, and he mentioned the word consistent, and then he mentioned something about being like more reliable for his clients, right? And so I'm just listening and kind of peering in a little bit, and finally when he got off the phone, I usually wouldn't do this, but since he was talking about literally what I try to preach, I started talking a little bit about who I was, and I was like, hey, you mentioned consistency. What kind of work are you in? And he just said he was in, the manufacturing industry, and I was on a flight back from Texas. I don't want to name drop, but I swear to God, like he just started talking like he was living my framework. And so I started talking about what I do. I told him, I was a best-selling author and that I have a care framework that is absolutely proven. And so he wanted to know more. And so I pulled out my care card and I started showing him, there's your consistency, right? You were just talking about that and being reliable right here, right? And so he's like, well, tell me more. I'm like, well, listen, there's non-negotiables within my care framework that you cannot hide from. And those non-negotiables are to be consistent, to show and understand you're going to have to be adaptable. Then he talked about being reliable. I'm like, yeah, reliable is my R in my care framework. One of my R's in my care framework. And then finally, execution, man. If you're not doing what you're saying you're going to do, your client's gone. And if I even back up one, reliability, that's your brand setter. So if you aren't reliable, I think he mentioned on the call like 67% return rate on his clients. That's not that good. Like, you should have a higher return rate on your clients. You should never lose a client once you've had one, once you've gained one. So I talked a little bit about the framework and the foundation of being consistently adaptable, reliable, and executing. And he's like, God, tell me more. What are the rest of the attributes? And so I went through, the rest of the attributes that were on here and how important it is to be compassionate, to show curiosity, because curiosity builds trust. And then he's like, well, what kind of book? I told him about the book, Struggle to Strength. And no kidding, he literally pulled up Amazon and he bought it right then and there. And it just goes to show you that sometimes you just got to pay attention to the people around you. He was struggling with his sales staff and struggling enough for me to hear him sitting next to him. And just so happened that that I was listening enough and I had enough, confidence to start talking to him. And we talked the whole flight. At the end of the day, why I wanted to share this story is that you just never know who you're sitting next to. You never know if that might be your next client. And it kind of turns out after talking to him that I might have just won a deal, because she's like, listen, if this is what you're teaching and you have a way to assess not just a specific department, but perhaps, an entire organization. If you can assess an entire organization, then maybe this is something we're talking about. So I took down his name and number. He took down my name and number. Again, he bought my book, which is great. And I just share that because this framework is proven. And it's time for me to start being a little bit more direct with some of my videos that I put out there. I was proud to tell him what I had created. I had told him that this came from 25 years of asking clients why they chose me over someone else. And so it's so powerful, the impact you can have on someone when you truly believe in what you're trying to talk about with them, and you have the credentials and the framework that can help him dig out of the rut and the hole that he was in. So I've got a call with him next week now. So really kind of a powerful, awesome plane flight home. Didn't feel any turbulence, and before you knew it, I was landing at DTW and home before you knew it. But I had to rush in and get this on camera because it just speaks to putting yourself out there. And if you believe in what you're preaching, and if you know that you can help somebody in any industry, this is not agnostic to one industry. This can help every single industry, educational institution out there. This framework is the ingredients for becoming the best human you could be, having the best brand that you can possibly have, ultimately building the best client base that comes back routinely over and over and over again. So be consistent, be adaptable, be reliable 100% of the time. You know, it might be Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning, answer the phone. If you know it's your client, answer the phone. That's where you build your brand. And then finally, execution. Execute on what you say you're gonna do. And if you can throw in a little enthusiasm and eagerness with what you're talking about, those clients won't just buy from you, they will remember you. So keep that in mind as you continue your day and as you go about what you're doing this week. Had to share this one for you. Hope it helps you. You want to know more, reach out. Reach out to me at soulfocusedmindset.com. I'm here to help, and the framework is proven. So I'm excited to continue to talk to this gentleman, and who knows, maybe I'll meet you on a plane near you soon. Take care.